The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let me tell you about the first time I smoked crack cocaine. My name is Paula. I'm 56 and I'm from Ada, Oklahoma.
This is Kyle Perez from White House Recovery and Detox. Tell us a little bit about how you came into rehab and what your experience was like with drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, I got a call from the school saying that my daughter had head lice, and instead of putting her on the bus for her to go home, they had called me to come and get her. While I was gone, my boyfriend at the time had put a pesticide on her head to eliminate the head lice, and he didn't know that I had gone to get the head lice medicine. I picked her up and took her to the health department, but my little girl wanted, the one that has the brain damage, wanted to go with me, and I told her, no, stay home. The dog is out, catch the dog. And my biggest regret is I seen Christian sitting on the porch looking at me in the rearview mirror as I drove away, and that burns in my head, it bothers me a lot.
And because she was going to come to the store with you to pick up the shampoo to get the lice, correct, out of her hair?
Yes, she wanted to come with me.
And you said, no, just stay here at the house.
Yes.
And when she stayed at the house, that's when your boyfriend decided to try to get the lice out of her head and ended up using...
diazolone.
And
it's a pesticide to spray outside to kill the outside bugs.
And when he did that, what happened?
Well, I wasn't there, but from what I was told, that he put it on her head and it clabbered. I mean, it was just like real sticky, and he went to rinse it out. And while he was talking to Christian, her voice started fading, she couldn't breathe. And he put her in front of the air conditioner, and they called 911 and brought her outside, and she quit breathing. Well, the police were there. Well, they wouldn't give Christian CPR because she had chemicals on her.
So they wouldn't even touch her?
No. The police panicked. They didn't have the equipment to put that mask on her mouth, for the breathing, to give her CPR. I had witnesses all over the place saying, that the police just panicked, Everybody was mad because instead of the paramedics coming around to my house, they radioed for the police to take Christian a mile and a half away to a Love's because they were moving a mobile home and it was blocking my road.
So the police and the fire and the ambulance couldn't get into the area?
No, they couldn't get in it. So she was just without oxygen for 6 to 8 minutes. And she's permanently brain damaged now. But the doctor said, once we got her in at the hospital, that she would never walk, talk, eat on her own, be able to live on her own, wouldn't know what love, hate was, wouldn't even know who I was. When they said that, that just broke my heart because for no reason they shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have said she would never know who I was, but she's proved them wrong.
How old was she when that happened?
It was in 97, so she was 6, almost a week before her 7th birthday.
Now, is this event something that was a catalyst to you beginning to use drugs?
I was holding all this pressure, I knew that I had to stay strong for my kids, because I had 4 other kids. Welfare was taking my kids out of my arms. They were metaflighting my daughter in a helicopter, and they, took my kids from me, but my mother got them. But I knew I had to stay strong. In 2000, I think it's 2003, my grandbaby passed away, and I held her for 2.5 hours after she had passed away. She was born at 7 months and her brain hemorrhaged, and I got to hold her, and it put me in a deep depression, and that's where the drugs come in.
Okay, so based off the experience of your grandbaby passing away because she was born prematurely, that's what spurred you deciding to do drugs for the first time ever in your life, right?
I was 40 years old, like early 40s. I started crack cocaine by working in home health, and my patient's daughter was a crack addict, and I didn't know it, and I walked in on her one day, and I seen her smoking, and she says, here, try this. It'll make your pain go away, because I did nothing but cry for 3 weeks. And I turned it down for like 3 weeks until the pain got so unbearable. I tried it, and it took me hook, line, and sinker.
And that was the first time you'd ever smoked crack ever in your life?
Yes, ever tried any drug. I never even smoked cigarettes, alcohol, or anything.
So what happened after you tried it for that first time? What was your experience like with that drug?
I mean, it took everything from me. I mean, I was a good worker. You know, I worked in home health, working on trying to get my LPN license. It took my family, you know, the respect my kids had for me. You know, everything that I had, I lost because of the drug. You know, I would sell everything, you know, just to get the drug.
How long was that you were addicted to crack for?
About 5 years, maybe.
And then one day you decided that you didn't want to do it anymore?
Yeah,
What happened?
I quit on my own, you know, and I stayed sober off of any kind of drug. I quit cold turkey. And then in 2011, I think, my niece got killed.
What happened there?
She got hit by a train, her and her boyfriend, and they tried to outrun the train and got hit and got killed. And I had a hard time with that. And my sister couldn't bear the pain. That's the mother of the child. And she slit both wrists. And she walked in front of a train and killed herself, you know. And then the drugs just got worse and worse, you know. And that I finally decided to quit. I mean, I stayed sober for a long time, for about 7 years, something like that. Then I met this guy, and then I started smoking meth with him. And that went on for about a year, then I quit cold turkey. And then now I'm at the point where I'm taking pain pills, and it's because I had several surgeries, and the surgeries caused me to stay on pain pills for a long time, and, you know, I'm addicted.
So you initially got addicted to the pain pills because of surgeries that you were having.
Yes.
So explain to people how you can go from having a surgery and taking some pills to try to help with the pain to becoming addicted. How does that happen?
I've got addictive personality. I mean, I can, like I said before on the crack, it took me one time, took me hook, line, and sinker. I lost everything, you know. And then I went from one drug to another one a few, 5 years later, and then until I had my surgeries, and then the pain pills.
What pain pills were you taking?
Norco.
How many milligrams?
10 milligrams, and I was taking up to 18, 20 a day.
Wow. So what made you decide that, you know, because you had an experience where you essentially quit 2 times off of crack once and then meth a second time, cold turkey. Why did you feel you wanted or needed to come into rehab or treatment this time?
Because I tried to quit at cold turkey, and there's something about the opiates, I couldn't do it on my own. I mean, I tried over and over and over, just couldn't do it.
Have you been learning anything since you've been here that's you think will be able to help you moving forward with the sort of urges and cravings that you might have to take pain pills again?
Yeah, they give me a lot of tools to work with, you know, like in seeking my emotions, you know, if I feel happy or if I feel sad, and then just spiritual, you know. I don't want the pills anymore. You know, my surgeries are done. I don't want it anymore.
What sort of advice would you have to somebody who's maybe struggling with either crack or meth or prescription pills, and they want to stop, but they feel like they can't, or they feel like they're trapped? What sort of advice or words of encouragement could you give to somebody who's in a similar situation?
I would say get the help. I mean, it can be done. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm a bad addict, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. If you're thinking about it, don't do it. Don't do it, because it'll take your life.
Can you think of anything else that added to the reasoning behind any of your drug usage?
Yes.
I mean, you've said you've definitely had a few family stories here that have been some major points in your life, but what else can you think of that maybe added to that?
2 years ago in July, my brother tried to outrun a dump truck, and he got killed. It hit him and killed him. The next month, August, my dad died of cancer. And then the following month in September, my nephew, my niece, my nephew's girlfriend was in a truck, and the axles fell. They was going like 65 miles an hour. Well, it made the truck flip, and they were ejected out. My niece got killed that day, and my nephew got brain damage, and it killed my nephew's girlfriend. About 4 months later, the baby died of COVID. The baby is 4 days old.
So you've had a lot of death that's been surrounding you and haunting you for some years, it sounds like.
Yeah, and that's when my pill addiction got the worst. I was trying to just get away from it in my mind. You know, I was trying to numb the pain. So, And I was just making it worse, you know. I wasn't feeling better. At the time, I was feeling better, but it wasn't a solution. And I realized that.
What was it that made you finally realize that you were sick and tired of being sick and tired?
I got tired of having to get up in the morning before I can even get up out of bed, take a handful of pills to get motivated. And I have a daughter that's disabled. You know, like I said before, I couldn't even get up to take care of her because the withdrawals was so bad. Spending every penny I have on them, you know, I just got tired of it.
So what was the detoxing process like for people who are on prescription pills and are scared to stop because of the withdrawals? What was it like?
Well, at first I thought I was going to be afraid because of the withdrawals, because I tried to quit before, but in the facility that I'm at now, you know, they're on top of it. You know, they give you medications to help you with the withdrawals. I mean, it's like little to none, you know, while you're in there, they'll take care of you.
So that made a big difference then, you being able to have some sort of medication assisted treatment to be able to help with the withdrawals.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I feel better. It's only been 16 days for me.
16 days.
Yeah, and I feel so much better. I know I got a long ways to go. I do. I'm not going to say I'm out of the woods because I'm not. You know, I've just got to work with the treatment. I've got to go do the NAs, you know, do 12-step.
Why do you feel like that's going to be beneficial to you?
Because if I slip back and I don't do that, I'm going to relapse, you know. You're going to have to want to quit before it's even going to work. Don't do it just for your family, you know, do it for yourself.
Talk a little bit about that, about how somebody really has to be in a position where they truly want to quit and nothing else is going to get in their way, because you've done it a few times now. So can you explain to people what it takes to get to that sort of mindset to be able to overcome this addiction?
I went down the road many, many times, you know, wanting to quit, you know. I said, I'm going down this road, you know. But I got tired of being away from my kids, my family.
And when you finally get tired enough, that's when
you get tired of being tired. You know, I'm ashamed of it. I've done some things behind it that I normally wouldn't do in my own character, you know. I prostituted. I'm ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it, but that's where the drugs take you from prostitution to stealing. You got the drug or the money, you're going to do it, you know, if you really want it bad enough. And I always wanted it bad.
Can you talk to touch on that a little bit? Can you explain to these maybe younger girls who may have been in similar situations that you were around the wrong crowd or boyfriends or people, and how this can totally change and affect their life if they decide to try it that first time? Can
I back up a little bit on this? On this prostitution deal, can I tell a little story on that?
Yeah, please.
One time, this man picked me up, and we pulled in between these buildings, and he took my pants off. Then he started stabbing me. He started stabbing me back of the head and back of my legs, and I was screaming out the top of my lungs. I had the door open, and half my body's out. And a man in the background, I don't know where he come from, he hollers, "What's going on over there?" That's what saved me. And I got out of the car and got away from this man, and I seen him 2 days later. You know, I mean, it didn't stop me. That's what I'm saying, that the drug is powerful. You know, 2 days later, I'm out there doing the same thing. Here he comes around the block trying to get me back in the car, and he didn't realize that was me, you know. So, you know, I've got myself into some predicaments.
Wow. So this man had you in his car, half naked, and started stabbing you.
Yes.
Wow.
All of my head and back of my legs. And I'm lucky to get away.
How'd you get away?
A man heard me scream, and he hollered, "What's going on over there?" And I guess it scared the man, and I got out of the car. You know, I fell out of the car, and he takes off.
Okay.
And I had a guy pull brass knuckles out on me, you know, and started beating me, and I had to jump out the truck going down the road.
Why did he do that?
With the area, they were finding women in Oklahoma City on Robinson Street dead, where a man had been killing them after he had sex with them or whatever, and then just threw them in the road, in the middle of on the corner. And this is the area that I worked in. It's like 2 days after they found that woman's body, and I didn't know that had happened. And I believe that was the same man.
Wow. So there's a lot of potential dangers that come with just trying to support and maintain your daily habit.
Yes, I mean, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. And if women, kids, if they just listen to me, you know, I mean, I experienced this firsthand. It's not fun. You know, it's dangerous. You can die.
Why do you think today in society that drugs are so glorified, like it's cool to be using drugs? Why do you think that is?
I think it starts out as to have party, you know. They think it's cool, but it's not cool. I mean, it's going to take everything from you. It'll take your home, you know, it'll take your self-respect. My kids to this day don't have the respect that they once had when they were younger. I mean, it'll take everything. You take your home, your money. You don't care how old you are, you know, how young you are, that drug's powerful.
If you could go back and you could change smoking that crack for the first time, or smoking that meth, or taking those pain pills, knowing what was going to come and that you've experienced, would you do it again?
No, never would ever do it again. I wish I can turn back time. As my kids got older, they started having kids. Well, my grandkids got taken away just here recently, and I couldn't get my grandkids because of my background.
So if you had a clean record and you never had this sort of history or past, you'd be able to maybe take care of your grandchildren instead of having the state involved.
Yes, and it hurts me. It hurts me to this day because my oldest daughter, she got her kids taken away before I even got into the heavy drugs. But with this deal that happened to Christian, with the chemicals on her, they got me to failure to protect. They used that against me, even though I wasn't there. They still used it against me. I wasn't able to even get my grandbabies back then, you know, but a lot of stuff that I've gone through has caused me to, you know, rely on drugs, you know, just to numb the pain.
What was it when you woke up that day and you decided that I'm done with crack, I'm done with meth, I'm done with pills? What was going on in your mind at that time?
Not knowing if I was going to get killed, not knowing if I was going to go home to my kids. And I just woke up, I missed my family. I stayed gone, missing in action for a whole year. My family didn't know where I was at. You know, I got tired of being a disappointment for my family. I just wanted to be a better mother.
So shame, a feeling of shame that came over you that made you really say, you know what, I'm going to change my life now.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
And what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's on the fence and thinking about wanting to stop and change their life, but they're scared to do so? What would you say to that they might need in order to know that they're ready, like you knew when you were ready?
You know in your heart if you're ready. Don't let anything stop you or anybody else to discourage you and not getting help, because you're worth it. You need to do it for you, you know, do it, and then do it for your family, but do it for yourself first. I mean, life's better. I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but I feel my life is already a lot better. I feel the difference.
After all of this pain and trauma and death that you've been through, how are you still able to continue to find the strength to change your life and do better for yourself and your family? How are you able to do that after all of these bad, crazy things that have happened to you?
I find the strength because I have my daughter, my disabled daughter, that she needs her mother. Who's going to take care of her if I'm not around? You know, and she'd be lost without me if someone finds me dead somewhere, you know? Who's going to be there for her? And I just woke up.
And that motivates you?
Yes, it motivates me.
Would you say that everybody needs something to motivate them in order to be able to kick the drugs or the alcohol?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that they need to look into their feelings, you know, I know everybody's got their problems, but look back at what it's done to you, what the drugs done to you, what the drugs taken from you. You know, just get out of it. It's not worth it. And now everything's fentanyls and everything is going to kill. You don't know what's in the drug to begin with. It could be rat poison, it could be anything.
So it's too risky to even try to recreationally do drugs like maybe was the case in the past. We're dealing with a different animal. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, most definitely.
We never know what we're going to get. And
Yes.
fentanyls in all sorts of drugs now, and what looks like Xanax and what looks like Percocet, what looks like Vicodin could be a cloned pressed fentanyl pill.
Yeah, back in Oklahoma, it's bad. People are making fake pills, you know, and putting that fentanyl in it, and you can't even tell the difference, you know. I mean, they're even making fake Percocet and Norcos that looks just like it. So it's scary.
Do you have any last words of wisdom or encouragement that you could give to somebody else that's in a similar situation or has been through this sort of things that you've been through?
Well, yes, I know that, like I said, the drugs take you out there and make you do things you normally wouldn't do out of your character. Don't do that to your body. Don't sell yourself. You're worth it. Just get off the drugs. Don't do it anymore.